What's up guys, Brian here from Audio Geek. I'm back yet again with another cool audio review for you guys. This week I'm super stoked as we will not be reviewing a pair of cables or a set of in-ear monitors or headphones. We will be reviewing a digital audio player, specifically the FiiO JM21. So I was super stoked when FiiO contacted me and asked me, listen, can we send you this thing, can you review it for us please? And I immediately said yes, because I was reading a few things about this, and I have this thing in my head that this might be the best budget DAP out on the moment. I know that's a very bold statement to make, as the competition is fierce. I mean, you've got your Hybees and your Shanlings and all those are also in the market, but I've really got it into my head, and I will test that theory out. The package was really quick. It was DHL, so obviously it was like 3-4 days it reached me right here in South Africa, so I can't complain about that. Guys, I'm super stoked to be reviewing this. This is my first FiiO product, so without further ado, let's get into the unboxing. Check this JM21 out. So if we start to unbox this thing, as you can see, it is a very nice sturdy box that it comes on. Picture of the player here in front. Just the back here, there's high-res audio stuff. Oh, your Bluetooth is a Qualcomm aptX HD DAC. Wow, some cool specs here at the back. If you open this up, you see we've got a nice little cardlet inlet. Here is our DAP. I'm not going to open this now, I'm going to get into this in the look and build part. Just take that out. Lift it up. We have another box, and inside this box we do have our booklets, and then I see a USB-C charging cable, a black one. I don't know why they always make these things white. There's a black one. Thanks guys. So yeah, that's basically what you get in the box, guys. Let's hop on over to the look and build. If we check out the build quality on this, the case design is a type of a plastic, so it's not metal, and for that it is not very heavy. Because this is at a very good price, and because this is plastic and not so heavy, I think this will be the ultimate DAP to take out if you go on the subway, or if you go out of your house, go walking or whatever, and you don't want to drain your phone battery and you have to use a DAP. I think this weight, the functionality of that is going to be a huge plus point here. It is plastic though, so not a metal casing. The screen is very bright, and I can see, I just touched it a few bits and I can see a lot of fingerprint marks, but I mean, that's not a problem. I've got a little thing I can just clean it up with that I use to clean glasses, so that is not a problem. The buttons feel okay. The only thing that I'm just picking up is, I normally with my other DAPs I sit and listen with my right hand, and I work the volume wheel, all the volume buttons, they normally sit on this side. So with the FiiO, they are now sitting on the left hand side. So I don't know if I'm going to work my fingers like this, or am I rather going to do left hand listening and work the volume from this side. This is going to be take a bit of getting used to, I think. The ports here at the bottom, I can also see it's a bit of a plastic. So FiiO also sends this together with this transparent case. I really do not like this, guys, and it's going to be my advice. FiiO does sell extra cases, and I really recommend, I mean, this DAP is so cheap, I really recommend that you get yourself one of these. This is a really cool leather case, just look at that. If you look at the difference, it's got a nice FiiO logo on it, and they also make it in a very cool blue color I saw. There we go, see how nice that fits. and I will definitely take this out, or it is it's now spring here in South Africa, but it's going to be summer soon, and our summers get very hot. I sit and listen to music outside a lot, so I think this one is going to be a companion a lot for outsides. So yeah guys, that's it for the look and build part. There's not going to be a connectivity part, because this is not an in-ear monitor. I'm rather going to do a functions and features part, and then we're going to hop on over to the specs. So let's check out those features. So I've been playing with this FiiO for about an hour now, and I have to say, boy, I like this whole interface and the whole way this thing functions. It's not as responsive as your cell phone. The response is a bit slower. What I really like is the 2 DAC chips pictured on here. I will discuss them later in the specs. It's basically an Android system, guys. You can load your Tidal, you can load everything on here. You've got your Google Chrome. You've got your Play Store. So this is basically a whole cell phone, just without the contact pictures with it, and you can't make phone calls with it. I mean, you can even load WhatsApp here, I think, and there's also APK installers, which you can install a lot of APK files on here. One thing I didn't see here, and which I can't find in the Play Store, is the IB music player. Now that's a player I use a lot because of its BitPerfect mode, especially if you want to evaluate DAC chips and stuff. That IB gives BitPerfect sound through and bypasses the Android operating system. So I can't see it here yet. I'm wondering if you can do it with an APK, but on the other hand, I don't want to commit blasphemy against FiiO now, because I mean FiiO and IB are rivals, so I don't want to take anything away from the FiiO. But yeah, overall the touch screen is responsive. It is a bit slower. If you take your cell phone, it's a bit slower than your cell phone. It is a bit sometimes where it gets a bit finicky, but that's not a problem for me. If you swipe down like you would normally swipe down with a cell phone, you'll see all sorts of cool settings here. You can basically do your Bluetooth on and off, connect to your Wi-Fi, you can set your gain. It's got 3 gain stages you can set. You can set it to a line out, you can set it on balance. There's a lot. There's an equalizer here, there's also a mode. I've got it now in Android mode. You've got a pure music mode where it bypasses almost everything and just focuses on the music with the FiiO music player. You've got a USB DAC mode. It's got AirPlay on here, Bluetooth receiving mode. So there's a lot of modes and a lot of settings you can play around with here, guys. All in all, just by working with this now for an hour, it's been really such a pleasure working with this DAP. And I have to say, after the specs, I can't wait to get into the sound of this FiiO JM21. Yeah, if we check out the specs quickly on this JM21, if you want to see how big it is, this is how it looks against a cell phone. So you can check the size. It's 120 millimeters long, and it's also very thin. It's not as thick as other DAPs. It's also very light, guys. 156 grams. It's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 680 processor, which is not that bad. 3 gig RAM. If you take into consideration the normal cell phones nowadays are 8 to 16 gigs, so I mean 3 gig RAM, you're not gonna get the same response as a cell phone. It's a 32 gig ROM inside. You can expand it up to 2 terabytes. Now I don't have a 2 terabyte card. I actually would have liked to have one like that, because I store my music on 2 terabyte hard drives. So I think a couple of 2 terabyte cards would be cool, and would be something on my bucket list now. The operating system is Android 13. Now I think this is very important. Now Android 13 is like one of the newest ones now, so you can be using this one for a long time, because what you run into, and I ran into a problem like that with my Aston & Kern AK240 MK2, what happened there was it used to have Tidal natively built in, and then Tidal went and changed some security settings or whatever, and you couldn't log into Tidal on the Aston & Kern anymore. So now I have to log into an app on my cell phone called Aston & Kern Connect, and then through the Aston & Kern Connect app on the DAP, I can then still listen to Tidal, but it's a slip, and you have to do another connection, and you have to work it there, and instead you can just work it from the DAP. So that's a huge plus point here for the JM21 having such a new Android system. It is a modified system, obviously. It supports 2.5G and 5G. Now 5G is very important if you're doing streaming. It's also got AirPlay, Wi-Fi music transfer. That's a cool one. If we check the DACs out, guys, it's got two CS43198 DACs, two of them. Your display is 4.7 inches. There's a single-ended 3.5 in and output, and then there's a balanced 4.4mm output. Bluetooth version 5.0, so obviously going to do your LDAC, receiving and sending, going to do LDAC on both. USB DAC. It can do DSD256 native. Oh, the output power. We have on the balanced output, this is really nice, it's 700 megawatts. That's kind of nice. That's great output power. I'm actually going to hook them up because I do have a balanced 4.4 connect cable for my Sennheiser HD650, so I'm actually going to hook them up and see if these this JM21 can drive them. This is an important one. The output impedance is smaller than 1 ohm. And then of course one of the most important things on the DAP, in which I wish I can find a DAP with the same battery life as a cell phone, because they struggle. I see here they say on the single-ended connection get 12.5 hours, and a balanced connection get 9.5 hours. So the charging time is 2 hours, and just they say you have to have a 2 amp power supply, so there's no fast charging here. Be prepared to wait 2 hours if you've drained this thing after 10 hours of listening. Be prepared to wait 2 hours before you can listen again. But I have to say, at the price, guys, what you are getting here, I can't wait to get into the sound and hear how this JM21 sounds. Finally, I am back with my sound impressions on the FiiO JM21, guys. The only thing is you can't really evaluate the sound of a DAP the way you evaluate the sound of a pair of earphones. What you can do is you can just maybe explore the sound signature of the DAC that is used inside, and then you can more or less get an impression of the sound. But before we get into that, I want to show you guys something cool. So while I was busy reviewing, doing my review, listening test and stuff, an upgrade from FiiO came through. Now, as you guys can see here is where I'm busy playing a song. I'm on Tidal. So you can basically play a song, and then you can go out, and then here you will see the interface. They've got a nice tape mode here, and what the new update does is it added some really cool VU meters. Check this out, guys. Man, I actually made a post last night in my Facebook group, and I told the guys that you know what, I think FiiO just scored some really awesome points here with the coolness factor, and yeah, so this is the VU meters. Let me just get in here. I'm going to show you guys the tape function, which is actually really cool. It looks like one of these 90s cassette tapes, and you change it where you change your themes. So I've got the VU meter one, then the cassette one gives you a whole bunch of cassettes to choose. And there you see, as your song is playing, looks like a cassette. This thing's coolness factor. My favorite times listening to music always was when I had my Sony Walkman in the 90s, being a teen, and you know, having that small those over ears, that was my listening impressions. My best years listening to music. I wasn't such an audiophile. I didn't do such critical listening. It was all about the music. Now, what FiiO done here with this is they bring that nostalgia back for you. I have to say, just that in itself makes this thing really worthwhile for me. It's a really lovely gesture from FiiO. If we look at the sound, and now I have to say, I'm not a very firm believer in burning of in-ear monitors and those type of things, but on this DAP, what I did find was that when I immediately switched it on, started fiddling around a bit with the interface, got locked into my Tidal, and the first few songs I listened to, man, this thing sounded very dark. And I said to myself, no man, that's not how I know Cirrus Logic DACs. They're not supposed to be sounding dark. So I put on some music, I let it play overnight until it went dead, and the next day plugged it in, and bam, it seemed like the capacitors and all the other electronics parts settled, and I had a really nice balanced sound. Now, if you look at the different types of DAC chips you get this one's got the dual Cirrus Logic DACs. So Cirrus Logic, ESS Saber and AK DACs. AK is my favorite. They are the warm, musical, analog sounding DAPs. I've got that in my Astel and Kern. Whereas your ESS Saber DACs, like in my IB, those are more clinical, more sterile. It's more for critical listening. And then the CS DACs is smack down in the middle. So if you take that wheel that I always talk about, technicalities versus musicality, the AK DACs is musicality, the ESS Saber DACs is technicalities, and the CS DAC is smack down in the middle there. So if you want a quick description of the overall sound, it is a perfectly balanced, it's musical, and I have to say, the power settings, I used it on high gain. I put it on high gain and I left it there. I never switched back to low gain and stuff like that. When you look at the Bluetooth mode, the Bluetooth actually sounded to me, to my own ears, better than the wired connections. I don't know why that is. I used the JM21 with these TWS earbuds I have from Roses Elsa, and these things beats the crap out of my Sennheiser Momentum TWS earbuds. I've got about 4 pairs of Roses Elsa. I've done some written reviews on them. They're in on my website, and I think I've done one video review here on YouTube. These guys, Roses Elsa, makes world-class TWS, and now that I see how great the Ceramics X works with the FiiO, this is really a really cool selling point, this, because when you get your interface, you can just download the Roses Elsa app from Play Store, and there, as you can see, I've got my earphones. I can switch the noise cancellation on. I can do a Super Master EQ. I can put it on hi-fi and pop rock. There's a gaming mode. Obviously I can do my protocols, which is LDAC, and then also the firmware updates you can do on the FiiO, you can do on the earphones through the FiiO. So this is a huge selling point for me, guys, and it was almost as if the Bluetooth mode, it's as if it turns it into a W signature, which is my favorite sound signature, versus the wired. And if we have to look at the sound from the wired point of view, the bass, it was balanced, but obviously if you want more bass, yeah, all you do is you go into the equalizer and you adjust the bass, so then you will have more bass. That's why I'm saying it's difficult to describe how DAP sounds, because you've got all these functions that can change the sound, and then you've also got all sorts of in-ear monitors, all with their distinct sound signatures. So it all depends which monitors you are going to use, or which headphones you are going to use with the JM21. The mids, it was almost leading into a V shape. It did have a little bit of a upper mids boost and a lower mids recess, a little bit. Treble, man, that was beautifully sparkly. No fatigue there. If we get into the technicalities, and like I told you guys, it's in the middle. The sound stage was moderate. It was more wide than deep. I did some frequency sweeps, and I could hear, yeah, well, that's my hearing impairment, and it comes with age. I can hear it at about 15 kilohertz. Any guy that's 40 plus that tells you can hear more on that and he's got golden ears is talking nonsense. Okay, it's human aging. What happens is you lose your hearing. If you damage your ears prior when you were young and listening to loud music, then it will be even lower. So and I could hear right down to 20 hertz with those frequency sweeps. Man, the dynamic range, I also tested the dynamic range by playing noise and then a voice at a certain level, and then I went down until I couldn't hear the voice anymore, and that went down to about 42 hertz. So guys, this thing has great dynamic range. Pratt, this thing has got great Pratt, especially with the Bluetooth function. With the wired function, it's there in the middle, it's got Pratt and it's got technicalities, but with that Bluetooth function on LDAC, this thing gives you amazing Pratt. So yeah, I think we've covered almost everything here about the sound impressions. I'm just checking my notes here if I didn't miss anything. Overall, I'm very, very happy with the sound. FiiO did a great job on the implementations of the DAC and the 2 op-amps with this DAP, guys. And all that is left now is for us to head over to my conclusion. So guys, to conclude this review, I am going to give the FiiO JM21, I'm going to give it a very, very solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to name this the best DAP under $200 at the moment. I know there's some guys gonna argue and say the IB, you know what, the IB is more expensive, guys, so we have to do apples with apples here. For me personally, in my own opinion, this is the best budget app out there at the moment. Most functions, most cool figures, thingies and stuff you can play with. Who should buy this? Well, everybody that's a bang for buck type of audiophile, you know, or a first time DAP buyer that's just getting their feet wet. This makes a great transport for dongle DACs, guys. If you are a dongle DAC collector, you can just get yourself one of these DAC pockets. They work like this. So if you have your little dongle DAC, it just goes in here like this, and then you can just get one of these magnet rings from Timo or whatever. Then that dongle DAC sits there with the magnet, plugs in there, and your earphones comes out there. So then you have a nice little stack like that. Not just for dongle DACs, this makes a great transport for everything. Those two Serious Logic DACs have been proven over and over. You get them in a lot of dongle DACs, you get them in a lot of other units as well. I would say FiiO knocked this out of the park, guys. And if you do get this one, I would say your upgrade pass, your next one will be the JM21, the M21. I hope I get one of those also to review, because I'm playing with this thing in my mind. If you've got this JM21, which is your DAP, which you can go outside with because it's not so expensive. If they steal it, if you lose it, if it falls, you're not going to cry if it breaks. And because it's light, this is very, very light, goes in your pocket easy. Yeah, I would say everyone should buy this. So thank you guys for watching my review. Until next time.